someone like Edwin, who we've talked a lot over the last week about his waning confidence, how much concern do you have about what an outing like that will do?
Yeah, he's going through it right now.
The discourse between Edwin Diaz and a lot of the popular MLB pitchers that come back from injury is really interesting, and I just want to say something straight off the bat. Do not give up on Edwin Diaz. No matter how bad you think he's pitching right now, I'm telling you, this guy is going to prove his $20 million a year contract by the end of this year or the next foreseeable future. Now, the reason I want to talk about Edwin Diaz today is because the dude came back from a really serious injury, which some of you probably know already. He got injured in the World Baseball Classic in 2023. He had a right patellar tendon tear, which sounds like a mouthful, but it really is an injury that caused the Mets to have a really bad bullpen in 2023, besides all the problems they already had. Without Edwin Diaz, the bullpen ended up having a 4.45 ERA and only 34 saves and 52 opportunities. Now, besides those statistics, why should you not give up on Edwin Diaz? Well, let's not forget that 2022 was a phenomenal year for Edwin Diaz. The dude was lights out, earned one of his first All-Star appearances. If we want to look at Baseball Savant, in 2022 he had a 1.31 ERA. He had 61 games pitched, 32 saves, and of course he had a whip of .84. Now, in 2024, he's pitched a total of 19 games on Baseball Savant. He has 5 saves, 19 innings pitched, and a whip of 1.21. The reason I want to make this video today is because he lost a save opportunity once again on May 25th, 2024, and I think a lot of people are starting to think, man, Edwin Diaz does not have it anymore, and he's kind of looking like his 2021 self. Now, if you don't know what happened in 2021, he kind of got blown up a ton. His ERA right now, if you don't know, in 2024 is 5.21. His ERA in 2021 is 3.45. So you can put that into perspective that Edwin Diaz is pitching really bad. And I mean, I guess it's kind of obvious if you were to predict that he would come back injury and not pitch as well as he did in 2022, but a lot of people thought he was going to come back and be lights out once again, like in 2022 when he had that big push for an all-star appearance. Now, another big topic with Edwin Diaz is in a recent interview, he kind of talked about how he wanted to go back into the World Baseball Classic in 2026 and pitch for his team. Now, this is a big deal because in 2023, the Mets lost him, their star closer, and honestly, he just hasn't been the same like you've seen in the last couple of games. Now, why would Edwin Diaz want to go in 2026 and pitch for his team? Well, of course, it's a pride thing, and also it's an opportunity that not many people get in the league. But also, you got to think of it too. Edwin Diaz is a competitor. He wants to go out there and prove himself, and he really missed being a part of that team in 2023. Now, it's always been a big topic for MLB players to play in World Baseball Classic because it's kind of in the middle of spring training, and the more games you play, the more chances you are to get injured. A big person in the sports realm that had a really big injury in a similar fashion was Paul George. Paul George got injured in one of the Team USA practices. He ended up pretty much kind of derailing his career for a couple years, but eventually he came back and he's kind of hit that stardom once again the last few years. Now, Paul George, it took him a little bit to recover, but he still wanted to go out there and play for Team USA in the following years. Edwin Diaz's situation is no different, and I guess, yes, you're comparing an Olympic team to a World Baseball Classic team, but so what? It's still a similar situation. They're both competitive players, and they want to go play the sport that they love, and they want to contribute to something that isn't just them. And also, a big thing to talk about is that Edwin Diaz is one of the top closers in baseball, or was when he got that really big contract. Now, if I'm the owner of the Mets, am I telling Edwin Diaz, hey man, I think you should chill out and not go risk yourself once again in 2026? I know it's 2 years from now, but still, even then, I would probably just let him do it anyways because you're getting your name out there and you're getting jersey sales and things like that. Besides the whole World Baseball Classic thing, another thing that doesn't help Diaz's case is, of course, he's making around $20 million this year. And if he's not doing the good things that you expect out of your all-star closer, or was all-star closer, I think you're going to start to kind of have a little bit of hatred towards him if he keeps blowing saves like he did today. Now, Edwin Diaz has proved that he can have a stinker of a season or a stinker of a games, but when he's really locked in, he's going to be lights out. And I think in a lot of his recent press conferences or post-game interviews, talks about how he's still pretty confident at the mound. I'll play one right now.
I'm fine, I'm good. I think I execute really good pitches. How I perform in the mound, how I look, how I feel. was way better than last week.
So I think as an organization or maybe a fan base should probably put a little more trust in Edwin Diaz because, hey, it's only May. I mean, the Mets are in a really weird spot as I'm recording this video. They're fourth right now in the National League East, and they're currently sitting at 21-30. Now, the Mets still have a ton of opportunity to make the playoffs, and honestly, if Edwin Diaz is on track to have a playoff, appearance and things like that, I think it's going to make a ton of sense if you let Edwin Diaz get the little, what do you want to call them, like the little shakes, like the really bad situations happen really early for Edwin Diaz, so he could come in later in the season, like I'm talking like August, September, when games might really matter, and kind of have a really outstanding performance. Now, like I said, it's only May. We're not even halfway through the season. I want to say we're probably around a third or closer to a third, but I think Edwin Diaz is going to continue to try and be better. I know today his fastball and, just his overall control just wasn't all there on May 25th. And I think it's pretty obvious that if we look at Baseball Savant, they have his whole MLB percentile rankings right now and also showing off his kind of pitching statistics. I mean, his average slider right now is the lowest possible, and so is his four-seam fastball. It's pretty obvious that this guy has a ton of recovery to do, and if I'm the Mets, I'm going to try and get Edwin Diaz as much opportunities in the next coming weeks to see if he's even good enough to continue pitching at the rate he is. If Edwin Diaz is currently just constantly getting blown up every single outing, I think they're going to try and do some IL stunt or say, hey man, maybe take a breather. We're going to let our other relievers come in and handle the whole opportunity and things like that. I think Edwin Diaz is in a really interesting spot, and I don't know, I'm not a full-on Mets fan, but if I am a fan of the Mets, I'm going to want to have hope that Edwin Diaz will be like 2022 Edwin Diaz and not 2021 Edwin Diaz before he was an all-star on the Mets. I don't know. I'm just really curious what you guys think. I personally think he will show up and he will continue to drop that ERA. Right now, as I'm speaking, it's a 5.21, and I assume that ERA will continually get lower the more you let him have opportunities. Edwin Diaz is confident, and of course, if you've seen him pitch, you know this guy could pitch. I mean, there's no beating around the bush. The guy's going to perform when he can perform. If he's not performing right now, give him some time. Edwin Diaz has proved why he deserved that monster contract, and I think you just let him do his thing. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. My name is Jotalks. Have a great day or night. Peace. Bye.